Hello, everyone. It is October 8th, the 20th of Tishrei, the fourth day of Chol Hamoed Sukkot. I hope everybody is enjoying their Yom Tov so far. We've been having a very enjoyable Yom Tov here in Shul. On the first days, we were successfully able to have two separate minyanim, inside and outside, and minyan every day and evening for Chol Hamoed. Just some important information going forward for the last days of Yom Tov as we wrap up this Yom Tov season. Hard to believe already we're at the concluding part of the Yom Tov season, but the schedule is going to be as follows: that on Hoshana Rabbah in the morning we're going to daven at 6:30 a.m. It's very early. It's a long davening in the main sanctuary. And going forward for the second days of Yom Tov, all services will be held in the main sanctuary. We will not be having any outdoor services. For those that are not yet ready or comfortable to come to Shul, there will be a Yisker service on Zoom on Friday afternoon, Erev Yom Tov, Erev Shabbos at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. We're going to have a Zoom Yisker, which it's hard to believe that will be our fourth Yisker on Zoom for the year, which is just incredible. And of course, we'll have the regular services on Shabbos, which is Shmini Atzeres. Also, we're going to be saying Yisker in Shul. We're going to have Tfilas Geshem. In order to abbreviate the service somewhat, the normal reading of Koheles will be done after Mincha, between Mincha and Maariv, and then we'll have Hakafos in the evening. Obviously, the Hakafos are going to be very, very different this year. We're not going to have people handling Sefer Torahs. We're not going to be having people dancing together, loud singing. Everybody's going to be distanced and masked, but we do have a wonderful program planned for both the evening and for the morning Hakafos. Again, they're going to be very different, but they're going to be very memorable, getting all different types of people involved. And I think it's worthwhile for everyone to come and to see that, because after all, Simchas Torah is celebrating the honor that we give to the Torah. It's not just about singing and dancing and acting wild. It's about honoring Torah, and that's exactly what we're going to do with all the proper precautions in place. So please make sure that you and your children who are of age to come to Shul right now will be participating in that. Again, that's Motzei Shabbos on Saturday night, and again on Sunday morning. And of course, Yom Tov concludes on Sunday, and then we go back to the regular schedules. It occurred to me this morning that we're actually one that I'm familiar with, a yahrzeit that we observe every year, and another yahrzeit which is only the second year around, but they're very much interconnected in my mind. So 35 years ago, our community lost a giant, Joseph Kushner, Yoseif ben Moshe Halevi, and again, the 35th yahrzeit being observed today. So Murray Kushner was in Shul this morning and reading and leading the davening. And of course, I could go on and on about what the Joseph Kushner means to our community. Of course, the Joseph Kushner Hebrew Academy, the Jewish education that so many of our children receive and have received over the years, a direct result. Even the machzor that we use on Sukkot, the machzor which says Machzor Beis Yosef, the house of Joseph, is dedicated in his memory and in his honor. So every time we daven from that machzor, the entire days of Sukkot, it all goes to his merit. But 2 years ago, we lost another Yosef. 2 years ago, exactly on this date, and here's where the interconnection is though they didn't know one another really, and one would not probably put the two of them together except for the fact that both of their names are Yosef ben Eliezer, Dan Fulop. It's hard to believe that it's been 2 years since we lost Dan, but for me the connection, it runs very deep, because I was actually in the Joseph Kushner Hebrew Academy when I received that fateful call. I was doing a program for the middle school for Sukkot, and I got frantic phone calls, which I actually had to step away from the program and to look, and I couldn't believe what I heard. They said that Dan had passed away. And then, of course, all the details that ensued are just trying to get Dan home, and then a full week before that could happen, and then the burial and the shiva, and then just sort of dealing with the enormous and sudden loss of such a young and vibrant person who is a friend of us all. And I'm in amazement of how Alyssa carries herself, how she's raised Alexis and Amber, and what a fantastic job that she has done, and showed tremendous amount of strength and courage And also credit goes to her friends, to our community, who have really rallied around her. And I was thinking about this today of two Yosefs. Two Yosefs who, very, very different lives. One Yosef that we probably all knew or knew of. And another Yosef who probably, beyond his circle of friends, maybe you didn't know him. I remember people asking me after Dan died, like, who was that? Who was he? And I said, you know what? In a community our size, that should never be asked. We should always know everyone. And the last time that I saw Dan, of course, was on Yom Kippur that year, here in Shul. And what's the connection between two Yosefs? Yosef was a great figure in the Bible. There's no question about that. Someone who was able to rally from the depths. Someone who was able to make something of himself from very humble beginnings. Someone who went through a tremendous amount of adversity and was able to not only raise himself up, but also raise those around him up. Anyone who was around Yosef was better for it. And we could certainly make those comparisons. Joseph Kushner, of course, and the entire family coming from the horrors of the Shoah and building an empire here, but building it for good, building institutions, building Torah, building communities here in our neighborhood, after seeing the worst of what humanity can bring. And then there was Dan. Dan also had very humble beginnings. I had a chance to get to know Dan long before he died. And I was always fascinated by his upbringing, his existence, his family. And he was also somebody that, from very humble beginnings, and he built his own empire. And he built a tremendous life for his family. And it was so sad and tragic that he was taken from us so soon. And we're still mourning. I know this is Man Simchaseinu, and it's very hard to reconcile personal mourning and public celebration. But when we think of Dan, we think very fondly, and it hurts. And I know it's been 2 years, and maybe I don't feel the same searing pain that we felt when we first found out the news, or when we had to go through that horrifying process of getting him home, etc. But it still hurts. It hurts. I think of Alyssa, I think of the girls, it hurts. And when I was davening for the Amud this morning, when I was saying Hallel, and we were singing, it hit me like a thunderbolt. We sing, we sing that song, and the pasuk says, Yoseif Hashem Aleichem, Aleichem v'al b'neichem. Yoseif Hashem Aleichem, Aleichem v'al b'neichem. We say, may Hashem increase upon you, and upon your children. But when I read it differently this morning. I read it as Yoseif Hashem. Two Yosefs who have had tremendous and profound impact on my life and the lives of so many in our community. Together with Hashem. They're convening now with their Maker. One for 35 years, one for 2 years. But Yosef and Hashem, Aleichem, they're upon you. They're over us. Aleichem, they're constantly surrounding us. Aleichem v'al b'neichem, on us and on our children. They have a tremendous influence and impact, not only on us who are here, on our children, and everything that they do. And it brought me a tremendous amount of comfort when I read it that way. Because I realized that as sad, tragic, horrible a loss is, that there is possibility to find meaning. There is possibility to find even influence beyond this earthly existence. That's why we take Yizkor so seriously. That's why we take mourning so seriously. We take Yortzeit, Shloshim, Kaddish, all those things so seriously, because we do believe that people can influence us far beyond this earthly world. And that's how I felt today, and I felt kind of like a hug and an embrace from two Yosefs. One that I never met, but has had such an important influence on my life and the life of my family particularly, and in our entire community. And one that I knew very well and was taken from us, taken. And I felt that, you know what, today, Yosef, Hashem, Aleichem. Yosef together with Hashem, Yosef ben Moshe Halevi, Yosef ben Eliezer, Zichronim Levracha. Together with Hashem, Aleichem, they're on us, V'al B'neichem, and on our children. And it's going to be okay. We're going to be okay, because they're watching over us. We believe in the concept of somebody being a Melitz Yosher, somebody being a gute beter, as they would say in Yiddish, someone who is sort of whispering in God's ear, saying good things about his children. I believe in that. And I know that today and every day, these two Yosefs are always have our best interest at heart and are always speaking to God for us, that we should do well and that we should be successful. So in that vein, may their neshamas have an aliyah. Again, Yoseif ben Moshe Halevi, Joseph Kushner, 35th yahrzeit today, and Yosef ben Eliezer, Dan Fulop, who has left a void, but at the same time, he continues to daven for all of us that we should be well. And truly should be Zman Simchaseinu. And we'll get back to that time when we could really enjoy Simcha, the enjoyment of life. But on this day, on the yahrzeit, a day of commemoration, but it's also a day of celebration for Klal Yisrael, let us recognize and appreciate all that they did for us while they were here, and all they continue to do for us up in Shemayim. I hope everyone has a good moed. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of Yom Tov. I will see you either on Zoom or I will see you in Shul. Look forward to a different but meaningful Simchas Torah, and hope that everyone will take part. Have a wonderful day.